Suggestion. Suitable for studying primordial bloodline, conducive to the ultimate awakening of primordial bloodline, escaping the braided cage. The rows of treasures at the front left LuoFeng dumbfounded. The sparse information made LuoFeng's heart tighten. Within the supreme rules, over half of the great Daos reach at least the second realm of godly king, thus one could aspire to become the master of the source world? Ultimate awakening of the primordial bloodline can also escape the braided cage? Even without purchasing many treasures, LuoFeng had learned some secret information. LuoFeng looked at them one by one. Time and again he was tempted, but LuoFeng was clear that the opportunity to buy was always there. However, he had only so many reward points and must maximize their use. Common beyond God King level, weapon secret treasures were generally priced between 12,500 to 50,000 points. The most expensive was 50,000 points. Beyond God King level weapon secret treasures generally have the effect of resisting spiritual will, either strong or weak. As LuoFeng viewed the simple information about these secret treasures, like the most expensive one worth 50,000 points, per the introduction, it reduced all attacks from beings less than a half primordial life to 10% of their original strength. All attacks, including those of spiritual will, soul attacks, causality attacks, etc., were all weakened. Who crafted these secret treasures? LuoFeng muttered to himself. Holding a sum of reward points, LuoFeng felt somewhat dazzled. He wanted this and that too, because treasures of this level could give LuoFeng tremendous help. The only problem? Too few reward points. Regardless, studying the Great Tao is the foundation. First, exchange for the cheapest Lotus Heart Seed. LuoFeng had previously exchanged for the Destruction Scale, and among the treasures compatible with the Great Tao of Life Origin, the cheapest was the Lotus Heart Seed, costing 18,000 reward points. Exchange. LuoFeng didn't hesitate. The reward points immediately dropped to 90,193.03 points. Considering future inheritance exchanges, he naturally needed to think more carefully about the treasures. His spiritual will had just broken through, and life and destruction were on the verge of reaching second realm of godly king. LuoFeng planned to stabilize his overall strength and then pick treasures according to his strength at that time. In Huyang City, inside the quiet room of the city owner's mansion within the Star Tower, LuoFeng held a multicolored seed in his hand, feeling very good. Senior Yuan left infinite space in the land of origin. The more outstanding a cultivator, the greater the benefits one gains. LuoFeng felt great, as both the Lotus Heart Seed and the Destruction Scale would perfectly align him with the life and destruction great Daos. Like Emperor Guisu, Mother River Master, Earth God King, etc., all outstanding beings who'd received treasures left by Yuan, even those beyond God King level, yet their outcomes were all quite tragic. LuoFeng's mind stirred, looking towards the Star Tower. In the Infinite Space Treasure Vault, beyond God King level weapon secret treasures range between 10,000 to 50,000 points. I wonder how much my Star Tower is worth. With a thought, LuoFeng's spiritual will began to penetrate the Star Tower. This was the first time he carefully observed the Star Tower after his spiritual will breakthrough. Spiritual will began to penetrate inside the Star Tower. It's different from before. LuoFeng was pleasantly surprised to discover that his powerful spiritual will quickly penetrated deeper layers of the Star Tower, revealing infinitely mysterious secret patterns in his consciousness. These secret patterns? LuoFeng was perplexed. The secret patterns in the deeper parts of the Star Tower had significantly advanced in mystery, far exceeding a complete origin Great Tao. LuoFeng couldn't understand them. Countless secret patterns spiraled into deeper areas. LuoFeng's spiritual will followed these spiral directions, continuing deeper. The deeper he went, the more vast and complex the secret patterns became. Is this the hidden side of the Star Tower? LuoFeng's spiritual will continuously penetrated, peering into more secret patterns. As he penetrated to a very deep point, suddenly time stopped. That's strange. LuoFeng could feel that all his other avatars were in a suspended state of time. Clearly he was frozen in this moment. Yet this avatar's spiritual will kept peering. Though he couldn't understand the secret patterns, they became even more beautiful, even radiating with colors. Mainly in blood red, but also black, cyan, emerald green, purple, and many other colors. Boom. LuoFeng didn't know how long he had penetrated when finally, his spiritual will saw it. It was something hidden in the deepest part of the Star Tower. Scales? LuoFeng curiously looked. A piece of scale, hidden in the deepest part of the Star Tower, was a blood-red scale, yet the edge of the scale bore fully 12 colors. This scale within the Star Tower felt like the supreme rules within the source world, naturally affecting everything. It is not truly real. As the master of the Star Tower, LuoFeng had a feeling. This scale was the Star Tower. The Star Tower was the scale. Both were one. What he had peered into was just the outer appearance, manifested by the mystery of the rules. However, such moves were of little help to LuoFeng's strength. Instead, I could create an escape secret technique. With a thought from LuoFeng, an outline for an escape secret technique was already forming, which he estimated he could fully perfect in just a few hundred days. But LuoFeng was not distracted and continued to study the deep layer secret patterns of the Star Tower. This research lasted nearly half a century. Only then did LuoFeng feel the difficulty in making progress. I can drive the secret patterns reasonably well now, let's see how powerful they can be. LuoFeng was quite curious. This time, with even more powerful power of the world completely ignited, the deep-level secret patterns of the Star Tower began to be activated. Buzz. The Star Tower was situated within the quiet room of the Huyang City Lord's mansion, and Luo Feng had released his world domain to cover the surroundings, isolating any external prying. At that moment, the Star Tower shook slightly, its aura causing the world domain released by Luo Feng to tremble. Luo Feng felt as if he was in control of a colossal entity that might rampage uncontrollably with a power that could surpass the Great Extinction style. What terrifying power! Luo Feng felt it briefly and did not dare to fully deploy it. Once deployed, Luo Feng was not confident that he could completely contain the power. This power is also somewhat terrifying. Luo Feng was somewhat astonished. The secret treasures that could be exchanged in the infinite space treasure vault, those legendary secret treasures from the land of origin, should not be able to unleash such power, even at his second realm of godly king status. After the transformation of the spiritual will, I could sweep through most of the godly kings on the land of origin. But those emperors and monarchs? I'm not confident. Emperors and monarchs, they all possess ultimate realm life forms. Ultimate realm life forms are incredibly complete in themselves and partly resistant to the effects of spiritual will. Moreover, the emperors and monarchs of the two ancient countries also possess beyond God-King level secret treasures, which more or less hold resistance against the spiritual will. With these two aspects combined, merely relying on spiritual will, Luo Feng estimated he could somewhat affect their strength, but killing them seemed unlikely. Apart from spiritual will, my experiential combat strength compared to emperors is still weaker. Once the Star Tower is exposed, Emperor Qing, the ancestor of East Extreme Domain, the ancestors of both nations, if they make a move to contend for the Star Tower, can I survive? In front of those figures, his spiritual will is useless, even their spiritual will might be stronger than his. Physical body? Techniques? The gap was enormous. There's no need to use the Star Tower yet, Luo Feng thought, and in time without external aid my strength will reach a new level. It wouldn't be long before he could comprehend the 24 forms. Then, with the help of primordial bloodline biological materials, he could cultivate a higher realm of world life form. The 10 Directions World Form is the entry to the world life forms. The 24 forms truly display the power of a world life form. Luo Feng looked forward with anticipation. Maybe without the Star Tower I could even match an emperor or monarch in strength. In the primordial bloodline creatures at the second realm of godly king strength, those with the 24 forms are considered top tier. This is still these primordial bloodline creatures with low intelligence in Luo Feng's hands. The world life forms of the 24 forms, naturally, would have even greater power. Luo Feng's spiritual will could also make the world life forms even more formidable. The techniques of the land of origin have a limit, the limit of the God King ultimate realm, which is also why primogenitor Yen Feng could not kill the Mother River Master. The stronger I get on my own, the more powerful the Star Tower can be. Right, there's also this. Luo Feng looked at the colorful lotus heart seed in his hand. The lotus heart seed, rooted within the inner world, could grow into a life lotus. Besides increasing the alignment with the great Tao of life origin, it also makes the inner world more stable, fills the physical body with endless vitality, significantly enhancing the physical body's strength. Life Lotus. After exchanging, Luo Feng obtained more detailed information. The larger the inner world, the better the Life Lotus can grow. The Life Lotus could also be transferred to the outside world, even used in combat against enemies. Inside the body, it also strengthens the physical body. Planting. This lotus heart seed, naturally, Luo Feng planted in the inner world of the true body of the world life form he could control as his spiritual will had transformed, allowing him to drive an even more formidable world life form. Currently, Luo Feng's small universe continuously absorbed energy to the greatest extent, channeling an endless supply of perfect divine power for the growth of the world life form. Whoosh. World life form, inner world. When a seed fell deep into the earth, in just a moment, a streak of green broke through the ground and grew rapidly. The growth rate of the life lotus was astonishing. It used the entire inner world as its foundation, growing taller and taller, petal by petal unfolding, until finally, after 1009 days, the life lotus had grown to the limit that the inner world could bear. It was all in shades of green with huge lotus leaves like worlds themselves. 36 green lotus leaves occupied 1/10 of the entire inner world while its roots permeated every part of the inner world's earth, making the inner world even more stable. If Luo Feng were to release his world domain, its power would greatly increase. This life lotus, connected as if one with the great Tao of life origin, naturally possessed endless vitality. Flame Wind Ancient Country, Chu capital. Under the night sky, dressed in black, Luo Feng leisurely flew over the city. After the path of destruction having reached the second realm of godly king, I am now capable of glimpsing the entirety of the path of destruction, making Morosa much less useful to me, Luo Feng said with a slight smile. To master a branch of the great Tao, one can glimpse parts of it. Reaching the second realm of godly king, one can glimpse the complete Tao and even wield some of its power to some extent. If one is at the ultimate realm, then they have mastered the complete Tao themselves. Once my life path also reaches the second realm of godly king, I can also disregard the assistance from the primordial cosmos. Many precious opportunities from the past are continuously declining in importance. Like the once Sha Wu wings, as an eternal true god-level mechanical flow secret treasure, it was of help to Luo Feng when he first arrived at the land of origin. But as his power increased, it became merely a treasure of some commemorative significance. The primordial cosmos will soon become redundant. Morosa would still be of some help if he reached the ultimate realm. The Lai Yuan technique, as the highest form of the secret technique of willpower I have encountered, still gives significant assistance. The Star Tower. The further I progress, the more important it becomes. Luo Feng found it interesting. Back in his home primordial cosmos, when he was weaker, he even considered the values of the boat of Mausoleum, Sha Wu Wings, and Blood Shadow Knife to be greater than that of the Star Tower. It shows that when one's strength is weak, even with treasures in front of them, it's difficult to see through their true potential. Even his master, mountain-sitting guest, who personally crafted the Star Tower, only regarded it as a God-King grade secret treasure. He hadn't seen through the Star Tower's true nature. Sigh. As Luo Feng thought about this, he flew leisurely and soon arrived at the palace of Emperor Chu. He came to the palace of Emperor Chu to receive the subsequent inheritance of 8 tribulations life form, and extermination of 72 blades. He only needed to demonstrate the mysteries of the path of destruction at the second realm of Godly King to prove that he had reached the realm. A moment later, Luo Feng had now completed the entire inheritance of the 8 tribulations life form, and extermination of 72 blades, for all stages of Godly King. Of course, Luo Feng now only referred to these 2 inheritances. Compared to the special grade inheritance, they are indeed much simpler, and their secret techniques are more common, thought Luo Feng. The special grade inheritance represents the theoretically strongest moves at the same stage, and their complexity is staggeringly high. For instance, the life form with 24 forms, contemplating the essence of the 24 forms, and researching the matter suitable for the 24 forms, Luo Feng has barely begun to comprehend just one aspect of it. For example, the Unity secret method from the chaotic whole beast body is a combat technique tailored to the chaotic whole beast body. Luo Feng has only studied the combat technique and hasn't contemplated the chaotic whole beast body, but rather uses the technique with a stronger world life form. So with these 2 special grade inheritances, Luo Feng has only partly grasped their theoretically strongest moves. After learning the inheritance, Luo Feng naturally came to meet his master. He had saved about 200 million guest official merit points with these 2 inheritances, so of course he came to thank his master. Luo Feng. Emperor Chu smiled upon seeing Luo Feng. He was extremely satisfied with this disciple. Becoming a godly king in just over 200 years, now at the second realm of Godly King. This talent amazed Emperor Chu. Master, I have already received the subsequent content of the 2 inheritances, Luo Feng said. Emperor Chu nodded in satisfaction. When you first became a godly king, you were already unmatched in the first realm of Godly King. I knew your talent was terrifying, but reaching the second realm of Godly King in such a short time, there are only a handful in the history of the land of origin faster than you. Luo Feng knew that indeed there were some who became godly kings of the second realm faster than him. This was also due to his lower realm comprehension of higher-level secret techniques, honing his comprehension. Your cultivation path is going smoothly, said Emperor Chu. Some with high talent may shine brightly in the beginning but suddenly hit a bottleneck, and become mediocre. Yet, you have smoothly broken through to the second realm of Godly King. For you, the next target is the ultimate realm. Emperor Chu said expectantly, the ultimate realm is many times more difficult than the second realm of Godly King. You still need to diligently focus and cannot afford the slightest carelessness. Disciple understands. Luo Feng certainly understood. As your strength grows stronger. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Some of the disputes and conflicts of your teacher may implicate you. Implicate me? Luo Feng was startled. You are my disciple, Emperor Chu said. Before, when your strength was weak, those at the pinnacle of the land of origin would not even notice you. But now that you have become a godly king of the second realm, you've entered their field of vision. Who are they? Luo Feng inquired. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Who do you think are my enemies in the land of origin? With the transformation of Luo Feng's spiritual will, fully concealing his will and hiding his presence, his sensitivity was still acute. With the master sitting there, the formless pressure was terrifying. Much stronger than Emperor Guisu, and even more than the Mother River Master. Luo Feng had seen the Mother River Master, Wind City Empress with his own eyes. These two through their realms and treasures, could fight beyond their class with Emperor-level powers. But in terms of life-form majesty they were far from the Emperors. With your strength, Master, the main opponents you'd have on the land of origin would be other emperors and monarchs. Very few stray cultivators could stand as your opponents, Luo Feng said. My archenemies are mainly the other emperors of Flame Wind Ancient Country. A coldness flickered in Emperor Chu's eyes. Luo Feng was startled. Flame Wind Ancient Country and Thunder Ancient Country are natural rivals. When facing external threats, the 13 emperors of Flame Wind will naturally band together to confront the enemy. As natural foes, the lines between friend and foe are very clear. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng, but it's different within the borders of Flame Wind Ancient Country. Whether it's exploring the multitude of treasure sites, various opportunities, or the distribution of resources, that's where most of the conflicts arise. In the depths of the treasured lands to seize treasures, one would go as far as to murder a fellow clan emperor. To strike mercilessly against another emperor's disciples, to annihilate their entire lineage and take their treasures. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. On the surface, there are 13 emperors of Flame Wind Ancient Country, but the grudges run deeper than with any wandering cultivator in the world. Luo Feng listened, secretly alarmed. There had long been rumors in the outside world that relations between the emperors were extremely poor, and indeed they were true. In the future you must clearly distinguish who is the enemy and who is the friend. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Among the 13 emperors of Flame Wind, Emperor Qing is the most transcendent, with the strongest ability to rally others. Next comes Emperor Yin, someone you must be wary of. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Emperor Yin was the first emperor of Flame Wind ancient country. He once led the country and held great power over the distribution of resources. Because back then he was the only emperor of the country, and he was very friendly toward the Imperial clan, helping many juniors. As a result, he wields great power even today. He and Di Wu are like siblings sharing a life and death bond. He and Di Shi are husband and wife. Emperor Yin, Di Shi and Di Wu, these three have always moved together. Being old enough and ruthless enough, they have also amassed the most treasures. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. All three have a full set of God King grade secret treasures. The three of them joining forces is incredibly terrifying. Among the 13 emperors of Flame Wind, Emperor Qing ranks first, while Emperor Yin, Di Shi and Di Wu rank second when teamed up. Emperor Ming has spiritual will beyond the God King level. This allows him to draw out even more formidable strength from his primordial bloodline body, and his secret technique of willpower is also terrifying. He should be considered the third power among the 13 emperors of Flame Wind. All the other emperors including Di Fu each has their own interests, none keeping a perpetual alliance. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Bloodline cultivation paths apart from Emperor Ming are generally more violent and rash. The primordial body refining route is relatively more rational, but once they scheme they are even harder to deal with. Luo Feng listened and understood. They say Di Fu is highly talented, possibly the next Emperor Qing. But in terms of strength, among the 12 emperors other than Emperor Qing, Emperor Ming is the strongest. My archenemy is Di Wu, a foe as bitter as death. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. This has also led to Emperor Yen and Di Shi targeting me. The disciple understands. Luo Feng nodded. I was ambushed by her and fell into the polluted blood river at the very depth of the land of origin's first treasure land, Heavenly Pillar Realm. Normally, a second realm godly king who comes into contact with the polluted blood of the polluted blood river would be contaminated and die instantly, with the pollution even affecting their avatars, leading to total death. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. I sank to the bottom of the polluted blood river myself, and as an ultimate realm life form, more than 90% of me was eroded. I was on the brink of death, but luckily I obtained a secret treasure at the bottom of the river, which allowed me to escape alive from the polluted blood river. If there is a chance I will definitely kill her, Emperor Chu said calmly. She deserves to die, Luo Feng nodded. Among the emperors, is there anyone who has a good relationship with the master? Luo Feng asked. Emperor Chu was slightly taken aback, then said, no. Although not friends, at least the other emperors don't have a death grudge against me, Emperor Chu said. As for the grudges between other emperors, I will send you a detailed report. Luo Feng received the report and glanced over it. Upon analysis, Luo Feng discovered that Emperor Chu wasn't so bad. Like Di Kong, his relationship with all the emperors was very poor. Emperor Ming. He had made moves against all other emperors except Emperor Qing, forcibly seizing treasures through overpowering strength. Because he was so powerful, none of the other emperors dared to forge a death grudge against him. Similarly, Emperor Ming also had no real friends. My master Emperor Chu is quite alright among the 13 emperors, Luo Feng thought to himself. I had not expected Emperor Ming, who was so friendly to me, to be such a domineering and oppressive character. If you ever get involved with other emperors, let me know immediately, Emperor Chu said. Don't make hasty decisions, it's easy to fall into a trap accidentally. Don't worry, Master, Luo Feng replied. Everything happened just as Master Emperor Chu had predicted, and within just half a record's time, Luo Feng's guest official token received a task. Within Huyang City, Luo Feng was surprised as he looked at this particular task. He had received many tasks over the long years, but this task was somewhat special. The task read. In the royal family Forbidden Land, there are 192 worlds each cultivating 192 primordial bloodline beast eggs. They require the strength of a second realm godly king and need to be meticulously cared for by 192 avatars. All that is required is careful cultivation for 3,000 records. Very few guest officials can complete this task, and after discussion by several emperors, guest official Luo he was assigned this task. Luo Feng was very surprised. Assigned to me? Unless it's a punishment like being the guardian of Xiangjie City, normal guest official tasks are entirely voluntary, and the guest officials have the right to refuse. Of course, the best solution is for you to grow stronger yourself. Emperor Chu said with a faint smile and then left. Luo Feng nodded. He was going all out in his comprehension of the 24 forms. A vast space. 12 thoughts converged here, manifesting 12 vague and towering figures. They were the 12 emperors of the Flame Wind ancient country, excluding Emperor Qing. Each of them exuded a terrifying presence, all like complete great Daos descending. Whether it be devastating and destructive, or an endless abyss, or full of boundless vitality. This assembly is proposed by Di Yen. Di Fu spoke. Di Yen suggests stripping Luo He of his guest official status. According to the Imperial clan's traditions, to strip a guest official status requires at least half of the emperors in attendance to agree. The guest official system was established by the ancestor. Stripping the guest official status wasn't something that one or two emperors could decide. Strip the guest official status? Emperor Chu laughed. My disciple Luo He, with his extraordinary talent, was unbeatable in the first realm of Godly King right after he became a Godly King. Now that he has reached the second realm of Godly King, the blade light he cast before in the second realm of Godly King is considered top tier. With such talent, Di Yan, you actually want to strip him of his guest official status? Emperor Chu shook his head. Do our Imperial clan need to care about a mere cultivator's talent? Even the Lord of 10,000 Realms wouldn't dare defy our flame-wind ancient country. Di Yan sneered coldly. The dignity of the flame-wind ancient country is what's most important. How exactly did this little fellow offend the dignity of our flame-wind ancient country? Emperor Chu continued. Di Yan spoke indifferently. Since Luo He became a godly king, he has rejected all tasks given to him, never accepting one. Instead, by using his status as an emperor's disciple, he received a heritage worth over 200 million merit points. A guest official who only knows how to take without giving? I think the Imperial clan does not need such a guest official. The heritage he received was bestowed by me. Emperor Chu said, it's customary for emperors to pass down heritage to their disciples. While it is customary, he still refuses every single task. Di Yan spoke. I personally asked him to accept a task, but even with my status as an emperor, he didn't consider it and still refused. Fire Lady Di Wu spoke lightly with a laugh. If he doesn't care for an emperor's orders, what's the use of such a guest official? He directly refused you when you personally asked? A dusky figure spoke up. Since the emperor personally saw him and ordered him to do something, he should obediently accept. With such disregard for hierarchy, I also agree to strip his guest official status. What? Just because you're high-ranking he has to obediently listen to you? He doesn't have the right to refuse. Emperor Ming chuckled lightly. Even the ancestor had set the rule that guest officials have the right to refuse. But it seems in front of you, Di Yuan, he somehow loses that right. In their eyes, even as an emperor's disciple, he should be completely under their control, at their mercy to kill at will. Emperor Xian said coldly from the side. Di Fu looked at the scene in front of him with a headache. Gentlemen, let's make a decision on Di Yan's proposal, Di Fu urged. The results quickly came in. Those who agreed to strip Luo He of his guest official status were Di Yan, Di Shi, Di Wu, Di Yuan, and Di Wu, a total of 5. Indeed, Di Wu's attempt to see Luo Feng and his subsequent refusal caused dissatisfaction among some emperors. Some emperors were very concerned about hierarchy. A mere cultivator not giving face to an emperor deserved punishment. This was why Di Yan dared to propose stripping Luo He of his guest official status. But Di Yan and the other two had thoroughly offended several emperors over the long years. For example, Emperor Xian, who also greatly valued hierarchy, did not hesitate to stand on the opposite side of Emperor Yan. His disciple, Emperor Guisu, being pushed to such an extent, Emperor Xian saw it as a great shame. Di Yan and his two associates simply didn't care about Emperor Xian's dignity. Emperor Kong would always oppose Di Yan in every vote. Thus, in the end, those who disagreed were Emperor Chu, Emperor Ming, Emperor Xian, Emperor Kong, Di Jiufeng, and Di Yu, 6 in total. Di Fu abstained from voting. Di Fu, you abstain? Di Yan was quite annoyed. Before initiating the proposal, he had assessed that the likelihood of success was high. He never expected that Di Fu, on whom he had bestowed numerous favors, would abstain. The merit points for this task are 50 million, which is rather small. Given the high threshold and arduous nature of the task, such measly merit points for 3,000 years of hardship? In the dream domain, one could easily earn that much by picking up some treasures. This task has been discussed and designated for me by several emperors? LuoFeng slightly furrowed his brows. Before the completion of the 24 forms world life form, he was not willing to be in too much conflict with the emperors. Master, I have received a task assignment. Luo Feng immediately transmitted the message and sent the complete task content to his master. Reject it, Emperor Chu immediately ordered. Cultivating primordial bloodline beast eggs is very troublesome, as you need to multitask with 192 focuses simultaneously and tend to them with care, and furthermore, you are always under puppet surveillance, you cannot slacken in the slightest. 3,000 years of time will greatly impact your cultivation. This is a tough and exhausting job. Those whose cultivation has stalled at the second realm of Godly King and are adept at creating avatars will take on this task to please a certain emperor. You don't need to accept it, Emperor Chu instructed. Yes, master. Luo Feng did not intend to accept it either. He already had the material of the primordial bloodline for the 24 forms, and if he wanted stronger primordial bloodline materials, they would have to be from ultimate realm power primordial bloodline creatures, which are forbidden to be shared by both ancient country Imperial clans. According to Luo Feng's understanding, even the avatars of the ancestors would be watching, and even if one took on the role of a guard, private maneuvers were not possible. Based on my understanding of them, once you reject, they will still have other moves, Emperor Chu commanded. Don't worry about how they threaten or tempt you, just refuse everything. Leave the rest to me. Disciple understands, Luo Feng thought to himself, rejected yet there are other moves? Huyang City, city owner's mansion. Luo Feng was drinking fruit wine on the upper floors of the high-rise pavilion. The path of life has finally reached the second realm of Godly King as well. Luo Feng felt quite relaxed. Since the life lotus rooted in his inner world, Luo Feng and the great Tao of life were in perfect harmony, and studying the secret patterns of life in the Star Tower also helped him a lot. The life-related secret patterns in the Star Tower represent the largest category. That very night, the three branches of life, spirituality, body of life, origin of life, merged perfectly, and he made further progress in realm, which allowed even smoother comprehension of the 24 forms. Just by displaying a bit of second realm of godly king strength, the emperors have begun to pay attention to me, Luo Feng said to himself while holding his wine cup. Earlier, he had made his power at the first realm of godly king public, capable of entangling with the Emperor of Tianquan only through multiple avatars, and the emperors ignored him. Now one after another they took notice and even had designs on him. Luo Feng could feel subtle threads of causality beginning to entangle him. Though these threads of causality were faint, they were also cryptic and profound, and even Luo Feng found it difficult to detect the connections at the other end. Because he couldn't detect who was connected, Luo Feng could extrapolate the outcome. Given my realm and the perceptiveness of my spiritual will, if I cannot detect these obscure causal threads, then they must be the doings of emperors and monarchs. As ultimate realm life forms that have achieved perfection, they can isolate themselves from all causality inquiries, so naturally I cannot detect them. Suddenly, the temperature around him rose, and invisible white flames began to burgeon. Luo Feng's complexion slightly changed. The rules of heaven and earth around him changed, transformed into the rules of fire. Within the spreading white flames, the visage of a woman made of fire appeared, looking at Luo Feng with indifference. Seeing her, Luo Feng stood up and politely paid his respects. Guest official Luo, he pays his respects to the emperor. The woman wielding such terrifying flames could only be Di Wu, one of the 13 emperors of the flame-wind ancient country, and she had a life and death enmity with his master, Emperor Chu. Hurry up and accept the task of cultivating the primordial bloodline beast eggs, the woman's visage ordered coldly. Emperor, I cannot accept. Luo Feng shook his head. The woman's gaze suddenly turned much colder, and the invisible white flames instantly eroded Luo Feng's body. Luo Feng's world life form felt extreme pain as his body was almost instantly burned to a state of near annihilation before starting to recover again. This terrifying flame was intentionally restraining its power, scorching Luo Feng's physique to the brink of obliteration but not completely destroying it. Just a newly initiated world life form is still too weak in front of an emperor. Luo Feng felt a sizable gap at that moment. Just because you are a disciple of Emperor Chu, you dare to refuse me? The woman's visage looked at Luo Feng with coldness. You must accept this task. If you dare to refuse, all the disciples of your Blade River Sect will turn to ash. Luo Feng's expression changed. Emperor. An emperor using the lives of all disciples of the Blade River Sect to threaten him without any care for appearances? Speak, do you accept or refuse? The woman's visage asked coldly. Di Wu, are you threatening my disciple? A terrifyingly dark presence arrived, wantonly eroding the surrounding white flames, and formed a towering figure that stared at the woman's visage. If you dare to annihilate all the disciples of the Blade River Sect, I'll just kill another of your children. Guess who I'll choose this time? The woman's visage watched the other with eyes full of murderous intent. She had 5 children. Over the years, 2 had been utterly killed by Emperor Chu without any chance for reincarnation. Now only 3 remained. If all her children were gone, she would be free of attachments and would fight to the death with Emperor Chu. But because of the remaining 3, she had to be exceedingly cautious. You threaten me for a disciple? The woman's visage said angrily. Yes, I am threatening you. Emperor Chu looked at the woman. With his ultimate realm power of destruction and the great Dao, combined with powerful secret treasures, he could curse-kill anytime he wished, making her children's survival impossible. Even while hiding within the Diwu Palace, Emperor Chu's direct curse-killing couldn't save Diwu's children. Good, very good. The woman's face sneered, and then the white flames dissipated completely and she vanished. Master. Luo Feng looked to Emperor Chu. Have you seen their shamelessness? Emperor Chu's terrifying aura condensed as he spoke with a smile. I hadn't expected an emperor to use the life of an entire sect to threaten me into doing things. Indeed, Luo Feng had his eyes opened. For a god king great secret treasure one might understand the unscrupulous methods, but still. Just one task and he threatened with the life of an entire sect? Luo Feng felt this so-called emperor's way of doing things wasn't even on par with that of a common godly king, not to mention a common primal chaos realm in terms of dignity. Emperor Chu said, when power is unrestrained and can do as it pleases, it takes a strong mental state to control oneself. Luo Feng nodded. Unrivaled power, in the hands of a madman, was indeed terrifying. Practicing the primordial bloodline, having the bloodline will contaminate oneself, they act even more recklessly. Emperor Chu shook his head. I also have to keep her 3 children to restrain her. In the future, should you get involved with emperors or monarchs, immediately contact me and I will help you resolve it. Thank you, Master. Luo Feng was truly grateful. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.